What sparked the idea to focus on this specific topic, and how did you decide it was the right subject for your second book?
The first half of the motivation came from the success of my first book.
Could you share a quick overview or highlight the essence of your book for our viewers?
This book was authored with a passion to support emerging businesses.
Could you focus more on challenges which are faced by emerging businesses?
On one hand, you are struggling with the financial resources. On the other hand, you also do not have the right talent.
How can pharmaceutical companies optimize their supply chain?
So the transportations or geographical differences in your case becomes little more easier.
So, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to Humans of Pharma, a platform created by Pharma State Academy where we unveil the untold stories, breakthroughs, and human connections behind the world of pharmaceuticals. At Humans of Pharma platform, each word is important, each line is significant, and each story is worthy of bringing a change. This is episode 18 of our book discussion series, where we engage with authors of pharma focused books to explore their ideas, concepts, and insights. Join us as we dive deep into their works to bring valuable perspectives to our audience. So, joining us today is Mr. Shailendra Tripathi, a seasoned marketing strategist with over 2 decades of impactful experience in the pharmaceutical industry. From leading high stakes products launches to shaping industry trends as a head of marketing and sales, Shailendra sir is a true pioneer in the field. An ICF certified coach and visiting faculty, he shares his insights with future leaders and writes compellingly about business transformations. Today, we will be discussing about Sir's latest book, Expanding Horizons Marketing Strategy for Pharma SMEs, which is already making waves. Building on the success of his first book, CRM in Healthcare and Pharmaceutical Marketing, Sir's new book delves deep into empowering small and medium enterprises with practical and impactful marketing strategies. With over 2 decades of experience in pharma sales and marketing, Sir is over here to discuss with us his new book. Thank you so much, sir, for taking your time to share your invaluable insights through your book and for discussing it with us here on our platform.
So thank you, Srishti, for having me here with you. Once again, I would say this is my second time when I'm coming on your platform. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
So, first of all, sir, congratulations on the tremendous success of your first book and on publishing your second one. Wishing it even greater success and recognition.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, now let's begin by discussing. Let me ask you the first question. Now, let's begin by discussing the motivation behind writing this book. What sparked the idea to focus on this specific topic, and how did you decide it was the right subject for your second book?
So thank you, Srishti. I think the first part of my question, I know you said it already. The first half of the motivation came from the success of my first book, that is CRM in pharmaceutical and healthcare marketing. So I got tremendous response from my readers. So I thank you them. I take this opportunity to thank them all. Because of their feedback, appreciations, I could collect courage to author my second book. The first book was basically on the relationships, marketing, relationship management. In this book, I have delved little more into the strategic part. So both are related. And now the when it comes to the second aspect, what motivated me to write this book. So Srishti, you must have heard about the slogan Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, and I want to extend this further to Jai Udyogi. I believe that the corporate world has given a lot, added a lot more value to Indian economy, and hence they need better recognitions and appreciations, and that's the world I come from, right? And within the business world, if you look at the emerging businesses, Srishti, Uh, so when I'm saying emerging businesses, I mean small and medium enterprises. They contribute about for 30% to the India's economy or GDP. When I look at the pharmaceutical SMEs in particular, they contribute even more to the pharmaceutical businesses in India. So it's about 35 to 40% contribution comes from the emerging businesses, and that is SMEs. So in my mind, in the intricate tapestry of the world economy, emerging businesses such as SMEs, they remain unsung heroes. And with this book, I tried, or rather, I have attempted to give the credit or what they actually deserve. So that's what the primary motivation why I picked up the topic specifically to the emerging businesses.
Yes, sir, definitely. The line which you said, Jai Udyogi, what an innovative addition to the original slogan. You said that the SMEs are unsung heroes. Well, I totally agree to that. We majorly focus on the big industrial world, but small and medium enterprises are often neglected in the landscape. So I believe this book would do justice. And
Yeah, yeah.
now, coming on to the next question, I would like to ask, could you share a quick overview or highlight the essence of your book for our viewers, like something which differentiates your book from something which is already existing in the market?
So, yes, Srishti, this book was authored with a passion to support emerging businesses. So, when I look at their contribution, the contribution is enormous, right? So, right from the contribution to India's GDPs, or maybe generating employment, or if you look at the productions alone. So, when I'm referring to pharmaceutical SMEs, their contribution in terms of volume is way higher than the big pharmaceutical companies, right? So it would be maybe about 75 to 80%. So uh, they generate a lot of employment. They generate, they contribute a lot to the Indian economy, but they have their challenges as well. So, what are the challenges that they have? Primarily, they face the challenge of the resources, resource crunch. So, when I'm talking about the resource, the very first thing is obviously the financial resource, and then there is the talent, obviously, and then third one is innovations and technological support. So, there are a lot of the list is long. If I have to discuss about the pharmaceutical SMEs, one more thing gets added to this is the regulatory and compliances, right? So I thought there has to be someone, or at least one aspect of their life, if I can make some impact. So to your question, how this topic, title, or book is different than others, it is basically trying to address them in terms of the go to market strategy for the emerging businesses, which means how to select a right market, how to select a right product, how to build the goodwill of a company, and how to attract a talent. So its entire ecosystem in terms of your business management, I have tried to address through this. Again, to simplify this, if I have to articulate that, the talent, getting right talent is a big challenge for the emerging businesses, and hence it becomes quite challenging for them in terms of the marketing and marketing strategy or marketing efforts. So this book in particular will help them understand the marketing strategy and how they can implement. It's a kind of handbook to help them out in terms of the strategic marketing as far as the SMEs are concerned.
I totally agree with you, sir. And you are absolutely correct. Well, I believe this book reaches, I hope this book reaches the true audience. And now, coming on to the next question, you already answered about this certain challenges. Now, could you focus more on challenges which are faced by emerging businesses like pharmaceutical SMEs in India?
Yes, Srishti, and this is burning question. The first part is like financial challenges that I'm not going to address through this book. But the other part, wherein I see that they struggle with the talents, the other resources, and that becomes the biggest challenge for them. On one hand, you are struggling with the financial resources. On the other hand, you also do not have the right talent to drive your initiative, your marketing strategy, to fulfill the need gap in the marketplace where you are catering to. Hence it becomes quite important for you to understand the strategic approach. And that's where it is very important to you to understand how are you going to market your product that you are manufacturing, or maybe in certain cases you might be getting manufactured by someone else, right? So how are you going to understand the need gap? And need gap could be at multiple level. One is like, clearly there is a need gap, and there is maybe the partially fulfilled need, so there is still some need gap, and there might be need that is you know uh, not completely satisfied need, right? So how do you identify those area? And secondly, and then maybe as a startup or as a pharmaceutical SMEs, you might be focusing on certain specific reason. So what are the nuances of those specific needs regions, and what you should look at, right? So maybe if I have to articulate this in a better manner, maybe North India would require more of the respiratory diseases product. Maybe if you're in the South, it might require more of the lifestyle, let's say diabetic or antihypertensive. So, looking at the need of the specific reason, you can decide on which product or therapy area you should be in. And then thereafter, is like, how are you going to address the challenge of the supply chain? That is another challenge for any startup, or even for bigger company for that matter. And then obviously, as I said, how are you going to gain the talent, retain them, train them, and also help them grow with you? That's the another challenge. So in that, what you communicate, how you communicate, and how are you going to build your brand, your company as a brand, and obviously the products that you are marketing with. So these are the areas I think startup, or maybe even the small and medium enterprises, they need this the support in this area, right? So the whole idea is that how I provide them with this knowledge, so that they can leverage this into their own organizations, and they do better, or they attain a better growth into their business.
Yes, sir, definitely. You clarified the challenges very well. I agree with you on the point that understanding the landscape is very crucial for any business to create appropriate business strategies and to survive in the market. Well, now we discuss the challenges which SMEs might face. So now let's talk about how the solutions. So let's suppose there is a small and a medium enterprise, an SME, which is looking to enter the pharmaceutical market. So as per your opinion, which region should they focus on, and what are the key factors that they should consider in their decision making process?
So very good question, Srishti. So any businesses or any SME, before you enter into the business, you must have a very clear insight in on what you are going to do, or what services or products that you are going to offer. The first of all, you must understand the clear cut need. As I said, if you are deciding on certain product, what is the need or need gap rather, or maybe underserved need? So in a particular geography or particular area, you must understand what is the need gap, right? And now, basis that, you will decide on your product offering. It should not happen that you see people doing good in certain products, so you also think that I'll start the same business. That could be by luck, by chance, but then that is not the right way. So one is that you'll have to understand the need gap, or maybe even underserved need, right? So when I'm saying underserved need, is like you have a medicine that is taken twice or thrice a day. Okay, so for the better understanding of your viewer, I would say that, let's say, cough syrup. Okay, so traditionally a cough syrup is taken thrice a day, right? But if you are targeting a metro area, people might be working, they might be going to office, it would be highly inconvenient for them to carry, a bottle of cough syrup. So can you innovate or come out with a product that is only BD, which means twice a day or maybe once a day? So the need or underserved need, you have to find out. And how you will be finding out this need? You have to conduct this survey, focus group discussions, right? Or maybe you will have to, when you are trying to collect the data from the primary source of the data, interact with the audiences. Okay, so that's the one part, doing or conducting the primary research. Second part is like, definitely you will do your secondary research. So the published data, or maybe data that is available at the government website and sources, surveys, or maybe there are, multiple societies, they would have multiple, or organizations, they would have these kind of the data, so you can refer those data as well. And I would also encourage you to get into the marketplace, interact directly with the, couple of the potential customer, try to understand their need gap, and then design your product and services. So it becomes very, very, very important. And now, especially in the era of digital marketing, AI tool, it becomes far more easier, right? You can execute your online survey, you can do your A/B testing. I mean, within minutes you will get the insight, and you can decide, whether you should be going this way or that way. So I would also suggest to leverage the digital tools in terms of getting insight. Insight becomes very, 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 very important. One should not shoot in the dark.
Indeed, sir. Very great and valuable insights from your end. Sir, I would say that you mentioned about market research. So, in market research, competitive intelligence also plays a very crucial role. So, my next question revolves around what tools or techniques basically would you recommend for effective competitor analysis in India?
So Srishti, as I said, you must get the insight before getting into the market. And now, when you are doing your research, you must have the proper tools, and some of it I mentioned also. So when you are, trying to get the insight or do the market research, there are two levels of the research. One is obviously primary, and other is secondary. So when you are going to, conduct the primary research, the very common tool is your questionnaire, right? And then the questionnaire would be at, would have the multiple choice questions, the objective questions, and you might have the descriptive questions, depending on the topic that you want to research upon. But then you can definitely form a focus group. You take the, insight from this focused group. Basis that, you have your questionnaire, that your the ultimate tool design basis which you will try to collect the quantitative data from the bigger audience. So first design your qualitative tool, right? And qualitative tool will come from the focus group discussions. And where you will do the focus group discussion is basically the experts, or maybe if you are getting into pharmaceuticals, you will definitely have the healthcare service providers, their point of view, the KOLs. And once you are deciding on the qualitative part of it, the qualitative discussions, basis that you derive your quantitative, the question. So once you have arrived upon your tool, right set of questions, that is going to, help you understand the real need gap, right? And then you would want to decide on a right vehicle. How are you going to execute this? So as I said, today, there are mediums like social media, you can, use to launch your questionnaires. LinkedIn is one of the very powerful media that way. And you collect the required number of responses. Once you have collected that responses, then the role of the AI tools and digital tools comes in. So you analyze those data on the AI tools, and basis the finding, you take a call. So specifically, the tools are the common one. It's not something which you have to work on something very different. The qualitative discussions, and then come on your quantitative tools, basically questionnaire set of the question that you want to have, and then execute them through a right media. Collect the data. After collecting the data, you analyze them using digital, or there are a lot of data analytics tool you have to leverage them.
Yes, sir, definitely. Sir, I believe you summarized the whole topic of market research in very easily understandable language. And I'm certain that our viewers might have understood the topic in a very easy, in a very informative manner. So you mentioned about digital tools and AI tools. So coming on to the next question, my next question focuses on collaboration with influencers. So, how do you think collaboration with influencers differ between wellness brands and pharmaceutical companies? And how can the authenticity be maintained?
Srishti, this again is a very interesting question. We all have to understand, between the FMCG marketing, wellness product marketing, and pharmaceutical product marketing. So pharmaceutical market is highly regulated market, and that's why I said in the beginning that the regulatory challenge is one of the additional challenges to the business owner, those who have their business into pharmaceutical marketing or pharmaceutical SMEs. So when you have a pharmaceutical product, mostly it is prescription driven, and you can't go and advertise directly. So influencer can't come and recommend your product directly, unlike the wellness product, or maybe self care product, or maybe the FMCG product. That is the biggest challenge, right? So there are certain category that could be part of the OTC. So now, at this point in time, the OTC category and is not very clear in India. uh, Probably I hope that soon there would be a class, a schedule defined that these are the drug going to be part of the OTC, and then it would be more clear. But as of now, uh, there is no clarity on the OTC schedule as such. So for an influencer recommending a pharmaceutical product, if it is RX drug, becomes very difficult in the sense they can't do it, we can't do that. However, the wellness product can be recommended by an influencers, and that part can be leveraged. So if a business is having wellness product, definitely they can collaborate with the local influencers. Maybe if you're at Delhi, or in the wellness area, if there is a good name, uh, he or she can be leveraged, right? So that becomes the bigger challenge. But if you are having core RX product, maybe you would need uh, the healthcare practitioner to recommend your product for sure, but not on a public platform to the public directly. You have to promote your product to them, and in turn they will recommend to the patient based on the need, or maybe the conditions if that patient is suffering.
Yes, sir. That was a great solution to the existing problem of the authenticity related to the OTC drugs and pharmaceutical drugs, which are being marketed by influencers. That was a very nice solution. Thank you so much, sir, for shedding light on such a delicate topic. Now, coming on to the next question, what role do you think emerging technologies like AI and blockchain will play in reshaping the market research in India?
So when we talk about the blockchain, or the AI, these are the technology that are helping industry in a big way. So when you are talking about the blockchain specifically, it is for the security of the data, and it becomes very very important in terms of the pharmaceutical research, that your about your data safety, right? And when you're talking about the AI tools, and obviously AI tools becomes very essential tool, how you are going to collect the information and you process them, right? So the easier tool when we discuss about the data collections, most of us we know survey monkey, right? And then you collect data, and it also analyzes data, right? And there are other tools like Google Analytics, so on and so forth. So these technology like your blockchain and also AI, you collect data, you analyze them. So it's not only the Google Analytics, I'm also talking about the BI, also talking about there are a lot of other, I mean, there are a lot of tools that can be leveraged. It's not a particular tool. So to your questions, these tools become very, very important in terms of collecting right data within right time, analyzing them, and getting the correct or the precise information that can be leveraged in terms of improving, modifying your product, services, or maybe if there was some need gap, you try to address that need gap through your research finding.
Indeed, sir. That's a great point from your end. Now, coming on to the next question, let's deviate from digital technology and everything. My next question revolves around, you have mentioned quite a few times in the interview, during the discussion, about attracting and retaining talent. So, how do you think an SME or a pharmaceutical company in general can attract talent and retain them?
So, thank you, Srishti. Yes, this is really a challenge for an emerging business to attract and retain talent. So, first of all, anyone who would want to work for any organization, probably the dream of the people is that working for the bigger organizations, right? That's the dream, and that's the perception. So, for a SME, it becomes quite difficult, to attract the right talent. The very simple thing, one is like how are you creating goodwill of your own organizations. So if you are working on creating goodwill, obviously you'll have to have the right communication. You'll have to have authenticity in your communications. There is no, there should not be any difference in what you are saying and what you are doing. So you have to build the goodwill of your organization first. You have to work. And what happens for an entrepreneur, specifically the one who is having small and then or maybe the medium businesses? So they are into the firefighting of the routine work, and in most of the cases, these people are brainy, very hardworking, and they want to achieve something in the life, and they are very skillful, and they most of the time engage themselves doing everything in their own hands, and that's where it becomes difficult. So you can't manage the sourcing part. You can't have control at the same time on the talent part. You can't have the similar control on the execution part or the marketing part. So these are some of the important aspect of any SMEs that normally misses, because the entrepreneur, the owner, the promoter remains busy doing something else, right? So it is very, very important that you put focused approach in terms of building your own organization's goodwill, right? Number two is like, when you are, once your goodwill is created, your company is famous, right? Obviously it will help get attention of a talent. Now the second part is, once you are you know kind of getting the talent, it is very, very important that you train them and retain them. So the kind of environment that you are creating, the way you are engaging them, I'm not saying the engagement is just couple of interactions during a couple of the special times or occasions of the year. Engaging meant like how a talent is engaged in a challenging task. He or she is learning new things, and thereby he or she is also growing along with the organization. So how are you going to create and empower him with the new skills, so that they learn and also contribute. So engagement in right manner is very very important. How are you engaging your talent in their job, right? So uh, these are the important aspects. One is obviously your companies has earned certain goodwill, and you are creating right environment, you are training them, okay, you are helping them also grow in their life, so you will be able to get and retain the right talent.
Yes, sir, indeed. That was an insightful solution, that creating a right positive environment and also engaging the talent and also creating goodwill of the organization plays very crucial role in retaining of the talent. Yes, sir, I totally agree with you on that. Now, moving on to the next question, how can pharmaceutical companies optimize their supply chain for India's geographically diverse region?
So this question, this problem is a big problem, Srishti. When I look it from the big pharmaceutical company, you imagine the requirement, the nuances of the supply chain is very very diversified. So there are products that would require a certain level of the temperature, certain level of the humidity, right? So a lot of things are there, and then time when you transport your product from one place to other place. So suppose if the factory is somewhere in the Baddi, so how are you going to get your goods from your manufacturing locations to a central warehouse, and from there far east or maybe in the south? It takes a lot of time, and it is very very important that you ensure the supply within the required time frame, right? So it is quite challenging. And how you address, there are basically three levels. One is your as I said, central warehousing, and you have CFA, that is carrying and forwarding agents, and then it comes your stockist and retailers, right? So depending on your requirement, like whether your product needs the cold chain management, right? So it is not only that in your warehouse you maintain the cold chain, but also you'll have to ensure that during the transportation as well you are maintaining the same cold chain, so that the efficacy of the medicine or drug remains intact, right? That's the challenge. That's the clearly challenge. So you have to, decide on where, which location strategically is going to be your warehouse, and then how from your central warehouse you are, distributing your goods to the CFAs, and at the CFAs also, depending on your requirement, you whether you have the arrangement of the CFA or you are having terms and conditions of the super stockist, depending on what is the more suitable to your needs and your requirement, right? So there are a lot of other things, Srishti. Supply chain by itself is within itself is a huge topic, but too short. When it comes to a big pharma pan India, definitely you'll have to have a strategic, uh, you know in terms of establishing your supply chain. If you are emerging business or SME particularly, I assume that you will be more active in a particular region, so the transportations or geographical differences in your case becomes little more easier. But yes, when it comes to the stocking at certain level in certain conditions, this challenge remains same for everyone, right? The second part, as I said, how you will ensure the entire flow in the rather seamless flow in the supply chain management, from the factory to central warehouse to your CFA, and from your CFA to your stockist. It is very very important, because uh, the time, and it also consumes substantial amount of your budget, when it comes to the transportations. So you'll have to be very strategic, wherein these parts are optimized and you are ensuring that a medicine or a drug reaches to the end consumers or the patient place, intact with the efficacy, the full efficacy that it has to or it is supposed to deliver.
Yes, sir. I totally understand that the supply chain management is a whole domain in itself, and it's not that easy to manage somehow. So, you very efficiently mentioned the solutions, some of the solutions to supply chain management problems. Uh, Moving on to the next question. Your book mentions about how the SMEs hit the growth ceiling very quickly. So, sir, can you mention how they can accelerate their growth? How can the SMEs accelerate their growth?
So, very good question, Srishti. So, let me attempt. The entrepreneurs or those who start their business, as I said, they are very enthusiastic. They are having their vision, their dream, and they acquire certain or maybe expertise in the area where they are venturing into or entering into, right? So most of the time the feeling is that I know it all because they're the expert, and that is the fact as well. So with this enthusiasm, knowledge, and expertise, they start their business and they do pretty well. But in my previous discussion, I was sharing with you that there is limitations how much you can do on your own, right? So you are working on the production, you are working on the marketing, you are working on the human resources, you are working on the finances, everything, this single person is trying to manage. So it becomes overwhelming after some point in time. So you start your business, and there is a limit, there is a point where you will grow, or you attain that point. Thereafter it becomes the growth becomes plateau, it is difficult to drive growth further, and that's where you should have a team. And which is why I say you have to have a right talent on board. Then only you can build a right team who actually shares the same vision and mission as you and your company, and together you can drive this achieve this business goal. So the essential part here is like you have to take help of your team, you have to build a team, or rather the expertise or the competent people, and then you bring in the strategy or set the goal, and then help your team achieve the target, the objective of your business. Now the other part is whether there might be challenges. I said you may not get the right talent because that's the challenge. So how are you going to take help of certain people's, maybe if it is not a full time, maybe part time, maybe on the project basis. So you have to have a group of the people wherein you are interacting, so your own associations where you are operating with, right? So that you understand the nuances or maybe the growth barrier that you have, and how you are going to address that growth barrier and help your company grow further. So essentially I'm saying, if you are not getting the talent, or maybe having those talents on board could be very costly affair for small and medium enterprises. So how you can outsource those work, it is also important. So if I have to give example, let's say pharmaceutical entrepreneurs, small and medium pharmaceutical entrepreneur, you have to decide or design a communication, right? So currently you might be doing, or you might have your limited people in the marketing, but you can definitely hire someone who can work with you and help you design a better communications, and this will help you in your own brand building. In the previous question we discussed about the goodwill part of it. So the communication about your own company or communication about your product, you can take help of the expert from the outside on the project basis. That would become far more economical than having talent in house. If you have nothing like it, there could be third scenario as well, Srishti. You might have the talent in house, but you might need to train them, as I said, how you are going to retain them and help them learn or newer skills, so on and so forth. So you can hire the experts or consultant who would train your people so that they acquire the skill or the competencies to the level that they can deliver the expected result out of them. So these are the methods, wherein any pharmaceutical SMEs, they can leverage the outsourced or shared resources to leverage and then grow their businesses.
Indeed, sir. Those are some great points from your end. You have shared a lot of valuable insights and invaluable ideas. I believe a lot of SMEs will benefit from your insights and ideas. Now, moving on to the last question, that is, if you had to boil down the essence of success in the Indian pharmaceutical market into a single mantra, what would that be?
So thank you, Srishti. A difficult question, I think, out of all, but I would still attempt. So in pharmaceutical marketing, all the problems boils down to single problem of prescription generation, right? So prescription generation or demand generation. And I have to take you one step back. So when you're saying prescription generation or demand generation, it has to be linked with the need gap. So very clearly you have to identify the need gap, unmet need or partially met need, and then you offer your solution. Your effort has to be around the demand generation or prescription generation, and this would definitely become when you have the differentiated product and differentiated communications. So this is one area I think the emerging businesses must work. This is mostly what you call the ignored area. I would have one of the best product, and I would be knowing how I do my business, but I may not be having the expertise of how do I communicate, how do I build my product, right? So what happens? A product, even a pharmaceutical product, becomes the commodity. So when I'm saying commodity, this means the doctor or healthcare practitioner sees them interchangeable, right? So whether you give Dolo or you give Crocin, so how do you create a difference between these two brands? And that's where the role of a marketeer comes. And hence, I say, if any emerging businesses is not having in-house resource, they should be open to outsource these marketing requirements in order to help their own organization achieve the business objective of the company.
Yes, sir, definitely. Differentiation and creating a USP plays a very crucial role in making your product a success in the market. So now coming to the end, thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights and the journey behind your latest book with us. It's been an absolute pleasure discussing the valuable strategies and perspectives you have brought to the light. And we wish you continued success and hope your book reaches and inspires countless readers. So thank you so much, sir, for joining us on our platform. And we extend our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Shailendra Tripathi for joining our Humans of Pharma platform. Your valuable insights are a true inspiration to our viewers and the pharma community. Thank you so much, sir, for taking the time to make this session truly impactful.
Thank you, Shrishti, and thank you so much, Humans of Pharma, for giving me this opportunity. I think it has been a pleasure, coming on your platform, interacting with you all. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Thanks a lot, and wish you all the best. Once again, Happy New Year.
Thank you so much, sir. And we hope our viewers gained valuable knowledge from this discussion. To everyone who stayed with us through this episode, we hope you enjoyed it. And we would love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to reach out to us with your suggestions via LinkedIn or our email ID, that is info@pharmastate.com, or simply leave a comment on this video. Let's keep the conversation going. Till next time, bye. Thank you so much, sir.